This is how a good detective operates. You keep digging and asking questions until you get to the truth.
After the first time I saw Spider-Man, I never looked at a spider the same way again. I hoped, prayed for an insect to come and bite me so that I turn into a superhero overnight. Well, that never happened. But for those of you who wanted to be a bad, mean gangster in a big posh city, Rockstar gave you Grand Theft Auto. And now for those of you who hold your copy of Sherlock Holmes, dreaming to be transported to the posh Los Angeles of the 1940s to solve a murder crime, there is L.A. Noire.
You are Cole Phelps. Your mission is to solve crimes. Be constantly aware. Missing out on the most trivial of details, the smallest of lies would be fatal. The badge of LAPD is your most prized possession, and that symbolizes only one thing: swift, merciless justice.
The only handicap for a game like this is the pace. Now it is one thing watching an investigation unfold on television and a completely different thing watching it on Xbox. That's how Cole's investigation starts initially. He has to roam about, search for clues, and at times he picks up empty beer bottles. Well, that kind of sets the pace slow initially for this game.
But what makes up for this slower pace is the killer soundtrack and the realistically depicted setting. This game is set in the 1940s of Los Angeles, and boy is the scene well set, down to every last detail, from the pointed hats and the gentleman suits to the old-fashioned cars that you can drive at will. And not to be forgotten, the large looming buildings compounded with a thrilling investigative soundtrack. And L.A. Noire is a riveting classic.
Soon after you have had your basic tutorial, Cole Phelps is asked to head the investigation. And this is where L.A. Noire picks up the pace. You hide from bullets, mastermind guerrilla attacks, and capture suspects. And then you interrogate them.
If you believe the person is being honest, you can select Truth, which results in Phelps responding positively and coaxing more information out of him or her. Or else, you can select Doubt, which often translates into press the witness or suspect harder. If your instincts are correct, this generally results in the suspect giving up something useful. Finally, if you think the person is lying to you and you have a piece of evidence that proves it, you can select Lie.
And if you think it's a lie, you have to back it up with evidence. The one thing that I really liked about this game is that it's all about split-second thinking and trusting your instincts. Well, there lies a minor flaw in this game. Because the ultimate motive is to solve the mission, in case you're horrible with instincts, this game kind of holds your hand. For example, in an interrogation room, if you set a criminal free, then your boss Donnelly will ask you to go back to the same room. You get what I'm saying, right? Anyway, in a nutshell, this is where the game scores and fails.
You can buy this game because it is just 21 cases. It is like living an engaging sitcom. Brilliant story. And what makes you feel it better is the detailed depiction of Los Angeles. Attention to detail in game settings is fantastic. The only probable flaw with this game is in the initial stages when the game takes a lot of time to pick up the pace. In all, it's worth a buy. Superheroes fighting against each other. Wait, this has been done before? Yes, it has. But for the Marvel vs. Capcom combat fans, it has been a long wait of 10 years for the release of the 3rd edition, and creators have let their imaginations run wild. Forget Hulk. If you ever wondered how powerful a She-Hulk could be, here you go.
Sunday driver. This is bad. Give me some dirt.
A game like this would lose points in my books if it doesn't have an intense underlying plot. Evil Dr. Doom has brought together bad men from the Marvel universe to take over the world, and the heroes have to stop him from doing that. Well, this storyline might come across as a bit lame, especially when you have Dragon Age and Operation Flashpoint in the offering. But the USP of this game is not the story, it's the gore and the graphics.
Battle mode initiated.
This game is essentially 6 superheroes pitched against each other. If you are someone who has somehow never played a combat game your entire life, then the tag team arrangement unique to this game could be chaotic. But for combat fans, tag team combo attacks are a visual treat. And this is what takes a game beyond your regular combat game. Take a look at this for graphics. Could a fight look any more real? Okay, you could be 50 years old and call it a kid's game. But tell me, your jaw doesn't drop when you see this. That's the 3D graphics on a 2D battlefield we are talking about. And each character lives up to their reputation. That's why it takes something like this to beat Hulk. The concept and the storyline is specifically for comic fan geeks and 12-year-old kids who love fighting games. In an age of concept gaming, this would score a 4 out of 10. Graphics are fantastic though. The insane combos, incredible super moves, and the 3D combats, easily an 8 on 10. Some combinations could be quite engaging, like She-Hulk or Wesker versus Spider-Man, or Dante versus anyone. But the variety of characters to choose from could have been much more, so not more than a 5. The soundtrack is fantastic. A combat game is nothing without screams and snide comments, and you just burst out laughing when Hulk calls Hager a strong mustache man. So 7 on 10 for soundtrack. Balaji says, I was playing this one last night, and I must say that although the wait has been long, but this is way better than the second game. I think the new controls lend themselves well to the type of action on display, and what a display. The combos are insane. Anish says, well, I was determined from the beginning, because I am a die-hard Capcom fan. Dante, Chris and Wesker were the main reasons. I actually do not need any other reason to buy this game. Joseph, although, is not happy with the characters available, and he says, can you believe that they have included Tron and not Ken? Where is Dr. Octopus and Gambit? I didn't really like it at first, seemed a bit too button mashy, but have to admit that after playing with a friend for 8 hours, I have to accept that it's quite entertaining. If you are someone who loved watching Saw and Resident Evil, chuck your bucket of popcorn and grab your joystick as Sega is coming out with this. This is what the game promises. Chop off the opponent's limbs as Sega plays with gore, creepiness and your mind. Rise of Nightmares in a few weeks.